Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in the sport. We say the things on here that nobody dare say. Isn't that right? Big Ron! Big Ron! Come see me, man. Let's get at it. Big Ron, I'm going to give you a shout out for your company. Shite Zone. Utter shite. Right. For those of you that like other sports and you like me fronting it out and just telling it as it is, feel free to jump onto our sister channel, Porky's International. That's YouTube, by the way. All right, so go and have a little neb, as they say around here. Go have a neb, nebbing. Go have a little neb over there, a little nosy over there. All right. Anthony Fowler. Well done, kid, coming out and telling the truth regarding what happened with Big Meech and Triple Knee. Right? Pair of them. One quit against Ruiz and one quit against Joyce and Usyk. But anyway, that's by the by, innit? Nobody wants to talk about that, do they? No. But Anthony Fowler spoke the truth regarding the sparring at the EIS. Everybody knows what happened. But there's conflicting stories, isn't there? You know, even Bricktops watering it all down because they're all in bed together, aren't they? Oh, do you know what? I was a bit disappointed to see them all piled up, but now I'm glad. Because you know why? Do you know why I'm glad that this lot are mates? Because it shows you that the sellouts, aka brassers. That's what they are. Absolute brassers. Why should I hold back on these? And be nice to them. Oh, be nice to them. Why would I want to say nice things about this lot? They stick a knife in you as look at you. Let me tell you. This is boxing. It's a sport masquerading as a business. That's what this is. Or is it a business masquerading as a sport? Either way, all them old shino. All the vagabonds, charlatans, born liars. They sell their mothers as look at them. Unbelievable. Anyway, Josh Warrington. Is he going to beat Kakazi? I hope he does. He's an hard trainer, Josh Warrington. He's a nice kid and popular, does tickets and that. But when you get to that age, at that fighting at that small weight, and that style he's got, you're hanging on for dear life. And when you're cutting corners in training camp, cheap sparring, you're getting people around you, a training team, not looking after them, getting rid of the training team that you've had for years. When you're doing things like that, there's only one way. There's only one way to go. There's only one place where you're heading. And you know where that is, don't you? We know where that is, don't we? Skid Row. And it's a shame that Josh Warrington's heading for Skid Row because he'll be the last person to know. Everybody around him will be telling him the usual. You're hitting personal bests. You're stronger, Josh. You're faster. You're quicker. You're smarter. You're fighting smarter. You're training better. You're eating better. Look at shape you're in. They can say all them things to G you up because that's what training teams do. That's what they're there for. But in the cold, hard light of day, once I break it down and I put it on here and I go back and look at, say, 10 fights ago, and then I look at the last few fights, I look how many punches thrown, how many feints, how many rounds that you take off. Somebody said to me, oh, do you know what they're taking a round off, Porky? So, well, if you're throwing 80 punches a round, and all of a sudden you're throwing 20 in a round for 2 rounds, that's taking a round off. Or going up back foot or holding or just staying out of range. You know, like Terry Harper's got it down to a T, hasn't she? Because Steffi Bull, when he used to fight like a coward. Anybody who doesn't believe me, go and watch him fight Gwyn Whale. When he stayed out of range against Gwyn Whale were hunting him all night. And he stayed out of range, kept fumbling his way through to a dodgy points win. And all arena went up after. It was that bad. But nobody talks about stuff like that, do they? Well, that crept into Terry Harper's game, hasn't it, from day one? If you're going to fight like a coward, you don't mean to say you are a coward. There's no wrong with that. You didn't ring, aren't you? You've got balls for getting in there. I'm not saying Terry Harper's got balls, although she might have. I'm not saying she hasn't got balls, but styles make fights, don't you? And her style is, don't forget, 2-minute rounds, so she might score a couple of jabs. Then she's on a bike. She's like Andre Ward. Don't want to engage. No wrong with that, is there? If you're up close, she's going to tie you up, or she'll hug. But Terry Harper gets on a bike, doesn't she? If you noticed, she gets on a bike. So, and it is what it is, isn't it? But that's how you can tell when fighters take rounds off. You just study the game. Study how many feints. I was the first person to come out and say Tyson Fury's on the slide. I was that person to say, you know how? I sat there with a paper and pen and I studied it from one morning. I studied it one morning. I see he's not fainting as much. He's not throwing enough punches, taking rounds off. He tried to fumble his way through against Usyk, didn't he? He managed to get a bit of momentum for 3 rounds, didn't he? 4, 5, and 6. We nearly got Usyk out there, but after that, done. And I think he got old after that 6th round, Tyson Fury. But nobody's allowed to say, oh, Gareth A. Davis, you were telling somebody I know, right, about Fury's performance in that fight, about the lack of punches thrown him, the lack of feinting and foot movement and that. That's a fighter getting old. If you cheat, it comes out in ring. Do you know one thing about boxing? And Josh Warrington will tell you this. If you're going to cut corners in camp or in your personal life, or when you go out and all that, if you're cutting corners and not living the life, you will be found out in that boxing ring. Ask Carl Froch when he fought Dale Westerman. You know what I mean? He wasn't on it, was he? He fumbled his way through a camp and just did enough, didn't he? He never did that again, did he? Right? Until the Groves the first one. Yeah, he trained hard for it, but went through motions, but he didn't put the second one, did he? He set about him. Do you know what I mean? You'll get found out in that ring. You will get found out. And do you know what? If you get found out in that ring, it's a long, long night. And I feel for Josh Warrington because he's give his all, hasn't he, really? He's got that style that's explosive and that. He don't get you out there, but throws a lot of punches, fast, hard punches. But he's not a KO merchant, but he overwhelms fighters. And once that's gone from you, there's no left, is it? It's like Roy Jones, David A. Once the reflexes go, and it'll be the same for Ben Whittaker. Once them reflexes go, you're just there to be picked off. So Father Time waits for no man. So I've got Kakazi to beat him. That's what I've got. Kakazi to do him. So what do I think about Johnny Horsecock and Flex? Big Flex! With this BYD, whatever it is, this place here at Sheffield. Apparently they're good cars, but they're going on about servicing for free, this and that. Yeah, probably because you're getting them for note. But they are good cars, but wait while the service bills come. I know people that have had Teslas. I don't know about that BYD. They're supposed to be all right and cheaper than Tesla. But I know people that have got Teslas and they've been hitting 26 bags for a service for one that's out of warranty. People that you got to get rid of them once warranty goes, don't you? 26 grand. I've heard people with astronomical bills for servicing them. Who's to say that we're all going to go electric anyway in years to come? So be careful. Do your own work. But apparently they're all right, that BYD. I'm not going to hammer them. Not going to hammer them, but I wouldn't have one. So why would I need to when I've got a Volvo 91 to Gal, free tax? Diesel, kid, diesel. I won't rest at cherry off here. In fact, I don't think there's any left. Kevin, there's no cherry left. I've just had a look. You can't get cherry now, can you? Cherry aid. Can't beat a bit of cherry. First time I ever saw cherry. Cherry aid. My pal who in 90s, this guy at Nick, and he had a grey Peugeot, I think 406 or something. And he used to fill up at this wood yard with cherry aid. I said, what's this here? Cherry aid, filling it up to the top for a 10 spot. 10 quid. Those were the days in the 90s, weren't they? Eh? Can't do it now. So everybody watering down. They're sparring, aren't they? I've spoke about that with AJ and that. It is what it is, isn't it? We spoke about Dylan White, didn't we? But Yui's out in a couple of weeks, isn't he? On the GMB show. Good luck to Yui with that. I want to see Yui get a move on now. after this fight, he's got to be in a big fight, or got to be in some sort of eliminator. That's what I want to see. Do they want to risk it against Huey? Because it's an hard night, isn't it? Long reach, big old fella. He's sparred everybody. He's fought for a world title. It's an hard night if you fight Huey, so it's going to be hard to match him. It always has been. But it is what it is. We spoke about Johnny Fisher. And Rudenko is pulled out with a torn bicep. What, carrying his dad Chinese up drive? I don't know what that's about. Somebody told me Tommy Coyle's coming back. Tommy Coyle? Is Tommy Coyle coming back? Super Tommy. Oh my God. What next? Super Tommy Frank coming back? Or Super Tommy Fury? Why is everybody Super Tommy? I don't know. Big shout out to Curtis Woodhouse's fighter, Adrian King. This kid cracks like a mule. People are saying in boxing, aren't they, that Riak Porte's biggest puncher in country after Daniel Dubois and Joshua, Richard Riak Porte. Well, I've been told that Adrian King punches as hard as Richard Riak Porte. And Curtis will know, won't he, if he's got him on pads and he's spending time with the kid daily. But this kid, Adrian King, they reckon he's a bit special. So Curtis Woodhouse has dropped on, hasn't he? Oh, Kurt, you've got to give Kurt his dues, haven't you, really? Really, you've got to give him his dues, because Premier League footballer on double-digit dough every week, smoked it all in buckets, 26-year-old decides to sack it, be a boxer. Everybody says he's crackers. Then goes and wins a British title against Darren Hamilton. Big Malk's fighter. Oh, my God, and I were there. And if I hadn't been in crowd, I'd have been at home knocking one out with a two-hander. In my dreams. So that was a great night for Kurt, but a great night for me, because Big Mal chatted nonsense all fight week, didn't you, Big Mal, eh? Going on about his recipes and all this, and diet that he had him on, and these mentoring talks he had. It didn't work that night, did it? Eh? With Bombay Dave and Dark Lord in the corner. Remember Bombay Dave? He was that frightened on the night of ballsing it up. He had to parachute in the Dark Lord, didn't it? AKA Sam Allardyce. They always parachute Big Sam in, don't they, at Christmas when a team's at bottom at league. Well, Bombay Dave parachuted in the Dark Lord and it worked, didn't it? Oh, Curtis got a British title. The only thing that guts me about that for Kurt is his dad wasn't there to see it. That devastated me just as much as it probably did Kurt, because that's a great moment, isn't it? Winning a British title. All them kids on here that have won British titles over years, treasure that belt, you know. Treasure it, because it's a great belt, and we don't put enough respect on the British title, in my opinion. We don't put enough on it. Why, I don't know, really. I think we should put a bit more respect on British title. Everybody wants to go for a trinket belt, don't they? And a top 15 ranking. But speaking of British titles and belts outright, Roberto Smith, 17 years at the helm of the British Boxing Board of Control. Why have you not signed off on Gary Sykes' British title? Why ain't he got his belt? Why not? Gary Sykes, let me tell you, won that belt outright, and that was a clerical error. He had the defences. They mind all this changing it from voluntary to mandatory or whatever it were, Roberto Smith. Give Gary Sykes his belt and do the right thing. Do the right thing, Roberto Smith. Every time I think of a British title, I think of Gary Sykes, me. I think how disrespected he were by board. I do, honestly. It really, really bothers me that. Just give him his belt. Give him his belt. You know it's the right thing to do. Get Kelly Maloney on board, and whoever needs to be making statements regarding this, Julian McGowan, Roberto Smith, get it all together, Steve Wood. I'm not sure who's to blame. Somebody's to blame why Gary Sykes hasn't got his British title. That's what I want to know. So, I mean, I've already put a billboard up. Cost me a small fortune. I put that up in Dewsbury area regarding that, and it got a bit of press regarding it, but it didn't get Gary his belt, did it? It got noticed, should I say, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That leaves a very, very, very bad taste in my mouth. But hey ho. So I just hope Gary Sykes as well. But Roberto Smith, do the right thing for once. Instead of just filling your boots like the rest of you lot at border control. Because we know what you lot are about, don't we? All right. Well, I'm going to leave you with this before I pop off to sort out another billboard. Oh, yeah. You see what it is with me, you see? If somebody pisses me off or cheeses off one of my close pals, we have to call them out, don't we? So I'm just off to sort out a nice slot. Oh, yeah. The high-end gloss waterproof sheeting paper's ready. The design is ready. Site is ready. It's just a case of getting it fitted. All right. I'm going to sign off on this. When is somebody going to just ask Dylan White to his face and Crusher Ben, are you serving a silent ban? Yes or no? That's all we want to know. That's all we want to know. Right? Because the sport's full of drug cheats, and these drug cheats are being protected. Fighters are getting punched in the head, you know. Oh, yeah. They're getting punched in the head, and they're punching other people in the head. They're not feeling these punches because they're on gear. And they're punching people in the head even harder because they are on gear. So sooner or later, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but sooner or later, we're going to end up with one hot slab, aren't we? And then everybody's going to point your fingers, aren't they? You know what I mean? That's what's going to be happening. So, okie dokie. All I want these YouTubers to do is ask proper boxing questions because I ain't going to let up. I ain't going to let up. Maybe I should put these on a billboard and roast them. Oh, yeah. But they'd love it, wouldn't they? Because they don't care. They don't care for boxing. They care for that because they can't go out and get a proper job, can't they? Or get something going. Can't do that, can you? No, you've got to kiss arse to get on. Okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And leaving a comment. Don't forget our sister channel, Porkies International. Feel free to go over there and have a nosy. Well, booyaka!